It is extremely cold today. I am sitting here with a heater, a blanket, and tea because it's just too much. So, I think I'm gonna answer common questions that I've gotten. As you can tell by the title, that this is gonna be about my jaw surgery journey. So, this is pretty much just part one. I'm doing this primarily because I used to get a lot of jaw pain. Two is I don't have the correct bite that you're supposed to have, like how your teeth are supposed to sit on top of each other. That has never been correct since I was a kid. If I don't get it corrected, it means a lot more dental work later on in my life because most of the weight of my teeth is being carried on my back teeth. So it means deterioration of the back teeth and more work that you have to put in and a lot of money that you have to put in later in your life, other than fixing it now and not having that later. I used to have a really big gap between my two front teeth. Now it's a lot smaller. No, I'm not going to close it. Not completely anyway. People who have gaps, if you close it, it tends to reopen again within maybe a year or two. It isn't really because of what I've explained, but it does change your face. I've never really liked my profile, so that's something that's going to change slightly. Yeah, that's kind of the questions that I get most often, especially from people who know me, remember and know that I've had a gap all my life, and also just don't really understand why I have to go through so many surgeries and all of those kind of things. Tea break, sorry. Part one, I'm just gonna kind of talk about like how I found out that I needed this and what was going on before all of this and what kind of led to this. Basically, I might split this into 3 or 4 different parts, just not to make it too long. When I was younger, I used to suck my thumb. I'm not really sure if that's one of the reasons for why I need the surgery, but I think it may be, especially for my top jaw. My bottom jaw is genetic, so I didn't really have any control over that. One of the things that could happen with sucking your thumb is that your jaw doesn't grow to its optimal size. So that's what kind of happened with my top jaw. We tried widening it when I was younger, but it didn't really work as well as we wanted it to. I had a retainer in my mouth first for to stop sucking my thumb. And then after that I had another retainer put in that I would like use a key to basically like crank and it would slowly widen my top jaw. That worked, but it didn't work to the point where we needed it to work. I just kind of stopped that process because it was just a lot, nothing was happening. My dentist wasn't really giving us a lot of information about like what was the next step to this. Until we moved to the States is when I got more information, and it was not what I thought it would be, and it wasn't what my mom thought it would be either. So basically we were told that because I'm still growing and because I wasn't able to widen my jaw at that time, the next option is to wait until I stopped growing and have surgery. The doctor that told us this basically told us, oh, we're just gonna have to break her jaw and push it back and probably break her top jaw as well. So both jaws will be broken. The way that information was delivered was just a bit shocking. Not the greatest bedside manner for a doctor or a surgeon. And my mom was like, nope, that's not happening. Which I can see her point now. Like I think at that age I was like, yes, we get to close my gap, we get to change my profile, like everything I was wanting and happy with. So I was fine with going ahead with it. But my mom was just like, no, that's not happening. So yeah. Also, if I look down, I just have some notes here just to remind me about what I'm talking about. Yeah, my mom said no. We moved on. I would bring up the subject every once in a while, and she was still like, no, it's not happening. No one is breaking my child's jaw. Then we moved back to Kenya, and noticed that my gap was actually getting wider. And with my gap getting wider, it was pushing some of my teeth back and inward. And so my mom was like, okay, we need to figure out what this is. And maybe you just need braces, maybe you don't need to do the surgery. Someone recommended me to see a orthodontist, and I went to see her, and I really liked her. So we started talking about basically what steps we would have to take. With that, we also needed to get a surgeon involved. So I was basically meant to meet two surgeons and decide who I liked best. There was one surgeon here in Nairobi and another one in South Africa, which would have meant me traveling back and forth from South Africa, which was not ideal, but it really depends on who you gel with. I said, okay, let's meet the surgeon here first and see what happens. We met and I really liked him as well. I don't know if I'm allowed to like mention their names, but yeah, I'll I'll just say them. So my orthodontist is Dr. Mwangi Evans, and my surgeon is Professor Gudua, or Dr. Professor Gudua. Both of them work wonderfully well with each other. I am really lucky with the team that I ended up with, and I'm really thankful for the team that I have. They've really helped me through this whole journey, and we haven't ended yet. But from my first experience with my first surgery, everything has been wonderful, and I'll get to that as well. So the first step was pretty much, doing a lot of x-rays, a lot of pictures. I don't even know, like half the time I was just like, what is happening? I had glass plates in my mouth to take pictures. I had rulers in my mouth to take measurements. Yeah, it was a lot. Which was fine, but I just wasn't prepared for that much, I guess. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, so after getting all of those things done, we decided that I would get my braces put in. It was just my top teeth, and it was, I think, my first six teeth. I looked very young, even though I look young without braces. Now I look even younger. Then we scheduled the surgery, and it was basically the day after I got my braces. Like I said, I have an amazing team. I'm kind of glad I waited until now. I really took my time with figuring out who is the right fit orthodontist wise and surgeon wise. Certain things just happen at the right time, and this happened at the right time with the right people, with the right team. So I'm super happy and grateful for that. Yeah, so this is part one. Part two will be about my first surgery and kind of what's coming up next. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in part two.